everyone, so video 1 from our exercise technique week is going to be how to properly perform a squat. Now, the squat is such an important movement because it's a compound movement. So if you read your introduction guide to weightlifting, you will know that a compound movement works multiple muscle groups in the body. And the squat mostly will work the bum, the hamstrings, but it will also work the quads as well. And if you are holding a weight or if you are using a bar, it's also going to work a little bit on your core, your shoulders, and obviously your arms. Now, the first thing to mention is that with a squat, you can do a squat completely body weight and still feel a burn in those muscles. Now, there are a few techniques which I'm going to teach you in this video that will show you how to do that. And what I want you to do is take the time to follow through this video, do the squat movements in the way that I've shown you, because that will then help you so much more when you then decide to introduce weights into the equation as well. So with the body weight squat, feet are going to stand hip width apart. Toes are going to be pointing forwards, knees facing forwards as well. You are going to make sure that you are standing up nice and tall, posture up, shoulders back. You can clasp your hands in front if you wish. I generally do that because I find that otherwise I'm just like not sure what to do with my hands. So standing forward, hands in front of you, and then we're going to focus on just making sure that it's the knees and the hips that are the areas of our body bending. When you're going down into your squat, you want to make sure that your back and your chest stay as still as they can. So imagine that somebody is knocking your knee through here and knocking your hip through here. Everything else has to stay the same. There will be a natural bend, lean forwards, but that isn't coming from you actively doing so. It should purely be coming from the fact that your hips are moving backwards. So as you can see me drop down into this squat, we go down and back up. You can see that I've not actively bent my back forwards or arched it either way. My back stays straight and we drop down and come back up. Now when you drop down, you will know where the right position is to be down into the squat because your leg should come down to a 90-degree angle. So I'll drop down one more time. So you can see I'm at a 90-degree angle there and back up. So that is the very, very basic movement. Now, that didn't feel like I could feel anything specifically going on there, but what you want to be focusing on, if you are doing pure body weight squats and you want to feel a connection, is that we focus on two main things. The first thing is your timing. So we take the squat down slowly and then we drive up through the heels. And what I always want you to be focusing on and thinking about as you are going down into this squat is that you imagine your feet are so planted into the floor that you can push the floor apart with your feet. So you're not trying to necessarily just drive your feet down into the floor. You are also imagining that you are trying to push the floor apart. And by doing this, you notice a much bigger burn in those muscle groups. So hopefully that has given you enough information about how to start off with your body weight squat. When it comes to actually introducing weights into your squat, there are a few different ways that you can progress from body weight right up to using a squat rack and a bar. The first way that I would recommend any client who hasn't done a squat before to start off with the squats is to use the TRX cables in your gym. Now obviously I don't have any of these at home, so it's a little bit more difficult to show you, but essentially the TRX cables will be something that you can hold on to as you bring yourself down and back up again. What it does is it provides you that extra little bit of stability. From this point, the next stage will be to introduce weight. So I would always recommend starting off with one light kettlebell or dumbbell. You're going to hold this up at the chest, and the way that you will know how far to go down is you are going to have a bench behind you. So, as if by magic, I now have a dumbbell and my version of a bench. So, holding the dumbbell in my hands like so, I'm going to turn, make sure that my bum drops down low enough to touch the chair, and then I drive back up through my heels. So, as you can see, I'm going to go down nice and slowly. Then when my bum touches the chair, drive up again. Down and up. Down and up. And what that's going to allow you to do is, for somebody who is new to doing the squat movement with weights, it's going to make sure that you are aware of how far your bum's dropping down, and that when you hit that point, that's your key indicator to drive back up through your heels. From this point, you can obviously then take the bench away and carry on performing the movement with just the weight, and you can then start increasing the weight. What I would recommend you to do is increase the weight until you get to a 10 kilogram point. At this point, the bars in your gym are also around 10 kilograms. So from here, you can progress to using the Smith machine, where you will not notice the difference with the weight because you will already be using weight that is equivalent to the bar. If you are wanting to progress to a squat rack, I would then recommend using a 10 kilogram bar with 2 5 kilogram weights either side, and being comfortable with that before you progress to using a squat rack, because on the squat rack the long bars are 20 kilos. So that is how you will be able to progress your squats from a point of using just body weight to right up to using a squat rack.